Wait a minute, that's not right. Mommy's back! But did Dom give in to Liv just a moment too soon? Priest rescinds his gentleman's agreement, and Breaker continues on his rampage. Plus, did the Wyatt Six reveal themselves? Okay! And the news indeed, as we go to our first Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank, as we make our way to SummerSlam. And first and foremost, let's just start with the amazing news that our mommy, Rhea Ripley, is back. But unfortunately for Dom, it looks like he may have blown it just moments before. So let's of course start with that, and I guess we'll call it our match of the week, as we didn't have any true classics on the mat. So first, this one started when Liv Morgan requested a mixed tag team match with Dom and against Ray and Zelina. Well, Dom tried to talk to Pierce to get the match canceled, but Pierce refused and said the match was on. So Liv caught up with Dom and said that they should work on their teamwork for the match to end the show. That said, we saw those two later in the night in the Judgment Day locker room, where Dom was merely trying to play WWE 2K. So Dom ended up falling back onto the couch, and Liv decided to stretch out his right leg. Well, it seemed to be an impressive stretch, but the other members of the Judgment Day then walked in on them, and Liv left the room. That said, we did have a match to end the night, so let's get to that. Zelina was about to attack Liv in the corner when Dom jumped in front of her, preventing the attack, but Ray snuck behind Dom and swept his legs, causing Dom to fall right into Liv's lovely L? Yeah, it's TV PG. What are we gonna do? I don't know. That said, the match continued and Liv was eventually able to hit the three amigos, and Dom tried to do the same later, but Ray stopped him. Thereafter, Dom was able to stop Ray from landing a 619, but Zelina pulled off a very impressive low 619 that helped the team. Zelina also 619 Liv, but Liv recovered and slammed Zelina into the ring post. She then threw a steel chair into the ring, which caused the ref to have to throw it out. But during this opening, Liv yanked Ray's legs out from under him and had his risque R land on the top rope, causing him to fall to the mat, where Dom was able to hit a frog splash to get the win. Of course, beating your deadbeat dad is cause enough for celebration, so he accidentally hugged Liv, but quickly realized the error of his ways. But Liv was not done celebrating, as she jumped into Dom's arms, causing Dom to fall, landing on top of Liv. And it seemed that Dom had finally given in to Liv's temptation, leaning in for a kiss when the moment happened when Rhea's music hit. What an amazing moment to get mommy back, but we have to ask, what was she doing taking all of this time to let it get this far? We've said previously, there are 6 other days in the week. What are these two doing to let it get to this point? Hard to understand, but nonetheless, Rhea was not happy at all. Liv hightailed it out of the arena as soon as possible. Rhea turned her attention back to Dom, said something to him, and walked away pretty angrily as the show went off the air. Well, Rhea, we are certainly happy to see you back. You have won 22 straight singles matches. You have not lost a singles match since December of 2022. So we look forward to you continuing your dominance and take care of Liv. Well, of course, we had more Judgment Day action as Carlito, Balor, and McDonough took on the Awesome Truth and Strowman. Well, the Judgment Day attacked the Awesome Truth from behind before the bell rang, but it backfired quickly as R-Truth then hit the 5 moves of doom, paying tribute to his childhood hero, especially after Cena announced his upcoming retirement in 2025. Strowman, as always, looked the most impressive as he landed a chokeslam on Balor and also did a double freight train with Truth serving as his sidecar. But Strowman got chased away from ringside by JD McDonough, which gave Balor an opening when Truth was caught unaware and Balor hit a coup de grace to get the win. This was the first match for both of these 3-man groups, so we don't expect that to be a big deal going forward. But we did have another 6-person tag match with Damage Control taking on Lyra Valkyria and Carter and Chance. Carter and Chance again showed their best tag team moves of anyone in WWE, with Chance hitting a double step up flying knee, as well as all of them landing a triple suplex. Of course, after Lyra hit a fisherman suplex, Carter and Chance hit their patented keg stand that looked like it was going to be the end for Damage Control, but unfortunately, Io at the last second came in with a drop kick on Chance, causing Chance to land on top of her partner Carter and breaking up the count. Well, at that point, it fell apart for them, and as Dakota landed a stomp on Carter, and then Io hit the over the moonsault to get the win. But they didn't have time to celebrate as Shayna, Zoe, and Sonya Deville came out and attacked the 3 of them. I guess this was a case of bigger bullies taking down other bullies. But for the match itself, this was the first match between both of these groups, so we don't have much to go record-wise here either. But we will note that when Asuka was in for Io, Damage Control was 1-1 in 6-person tags. In singles action, we saw Braun Breaker yet again take on Ilya Dragunov, and this one happened because Breaker saw no chance for a rematch after losing to Sami Zayn at Money in the Bank. So he just decided to spear Zayn in the middle of the ring instead, and in fact landed a second spear on him, which caused Dragunov to come out to tend to Zayn. Then, back in the training room, Dragunov asked Pierce for a match against Breaker, and of course, Pierce obliged. But for the match itself, these were 2 men that know each other very well, and it was difficult for both of them to hit their big signature moves. However, Breaker eventually hit another devastating jumping knee and then a gorilla press double knee gutbuster that led to him clotheslining Dragunov outside the ring. So Breaker went for the running spear, but Dragunov had his wits about to him enough to land a kick to stop it. Apparently that just enraged Breaker too much, as he then picked up a chair from ringside and threw it at Dragunov, causing the disqualification. Breaker was not done there, and he kept attacking Dragunov, which had Zayn then run back out to stave off his attack. But it wasn't enough, as Breaker threw both Dragunov and Zayn over the announce table. Dragunov stops a 4-match losing streak in all singles matches and improves to 3-3 in one-on-one matches. For Breaker, well, he now deserves to have lost 4 matches in a row, as he has fallen to 7-4. We also saw Big Bronson Reed take on Pete Dunne. Michael Cole said that Tyler Bate was injured in NXT last week, so Dunne will be left on his own. And he proved his toughness yet again with a nice running knee and, as usual, his patented joint manipulations. But on this night, Reed was just too strong with a sit-out powerbomb and eventually landing a tsunami to get the win. Reed was not done at that point as he looked to try to hit a second tsunami, but Sheamus ran out of the back and made the save. Dunn was not in the mood to celebrate with Sheamus, however, and he left the ring upset. We can't really blame Dunn for this, as Sheamus got injured at a bad time, which eventually led to the downfall of the Brawling Brutes. Unfortunately, it probably just gave Dunn flashbacks to the past when he was going as Butch, which he probably does not want to think about anymore. For the match itself, Reed improves to 4-5 in one-on-one matches, and Dunn, while a very impressive 8-5 in all tag matches with Bate, that was his first one-on-one match, so he is 0-1. Lastly, and actually as the first match of the show, we saw Jey Uso take on Chad Gable. Gable tried to work on the left knee of Jey, and it seemed to be working, but he was understandably freaked out when the lights started going out again. This gave Jey the opening he needed to hit a spear and quickly get the win. Abby then popped up from the side of the ring yet again, and Gable ran out of the arena as soon as possible. Gable falls to 3-5 in one-on-one matches and has indeed lost 5 out of his last 6 singles matches. For Jey, he has gone back and forth alternating wins and losses in his last 5 matches, but still remains an impressive 8-4 in one-on-one action. But let's continue with the Wyatt Six and go beyond the mat, as Abby yet again gave another VHS tape to the announcers. Unfortunately, McAfee was back this week to grab the tape out of the box himself. As for the tape itself, Howdy and Dallas again continued to speak back and forth in their interview segment, but Dallas said that he took those that were discarded and gave them a purpose. Uncle Howdy also asked if Dallas thought that they were sick, and Dallas agreed that they were sick. More importantly, however, than the words themselves, it appeared that there were a lot of glitches in this particular tape, and it seemed that each of the 3 male figures of the Wyatt Six, other than Uncle Howdy, appeared to unmask themselves, showing that Joey Gacy from NXT may be Huskus the Pig, that Mercy the Buzzard may be the long-lost Dexter Loomis, and Ramblin' Rabbit just might be Eric Rowan, who we have not seen for years at this point. But Abby herself did not unmask, nor did we really see what's going on with Uncle Howdy, though it may have been implied that the glitches were that Bo Dallas is somehow Uncle Howdy, but we've seen those two interview each other the last several weeks, so is that even possible? I guess you never know with the Wyatt Six. After the tape was done playing, Gable met with Pierce, and Gable yelled at him asking how the Wyatt Six can keep infiltrating the arena each week. But Pierce responded that he has doubled security twice already. It just doesn't seem to be working out, as after Gable left, Pierce opened the door to his office where Bo Dallas was sitting there. Pierce then closed the door, and we have no idea what happened from there. So hopefully Pierce is okay, but we'll just have to wait and see for next week. Elsewhere, and kicking off the show, CM Punk apologized to Seth Rollins, saying that he did not mean to interfere in Rollins' business during the World Championship match. It was just that he has to stop McIntyre. But Punk, of course, had to add in that he can't be too sorry because it happened to Rollins. At that point, Rollins was enraged and said that as soon as Punk is cleared, he promises to go after Punk and put him right back onto the injured list. Rollins later met up with Priest backstage, And Priest said that he was lifting their gentleman's agreement and that after he defeats Gunther, he will agree to another match with Rollins. Lastly, Michael Cole said that Kofi Kingston sprained his AC joint last week from what Karrion Kross did to him. So Kross called out Woods, saying that the New Day was finished and he either needs to join the Final Testament or they will send him to the hospital. So with that, let's go to STFs. And in our STFs, we had CM Punk open the show, and he showed a clip from the post-show from Money in the Bank in which Drew McIntyre laid hands on 2 different officials and then elbowed Adam Pearce in the head. Well, for that, we're going to have to give McIntyre a 2-week suspension. Braun Breaker continued his typical weekly assaults when he first attempted to leave the ring only to turn around and spear Sami Zayn. He then started to leave yet again, but then he did a running spear on Zayn. That will get him another 1-week suspension. But Breaker was not done there, because after he threw a chair at Dragunov, causing a disqualification loss, he then continued to attack him and then also attack Sami Zayn when he came to help. So for that, Breaker will also pick up a separate fine. It's not another Raw if there's not something from the Judgment Day, and even though it was a light week, we still had Balor, McDonough, and Carlito attack the Awesome Truth while they were still singing their intro song before the match. And for that, they will have to each get a fine. Lastly, after Damage Control picked up a win, they were attacked by Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Sonya Deville. So for that, the 3 of them will also have to get a fine. We are so happy to see the return of our mommy, Rhea Ripley, and we can't wait to see her take back Dirty Dom from Liv. But that's if she even wants to do that after what we saw this week. Well, Breaker continued to run amok as well, and we may finally be starting to get some insight into the Wyatt Six. I'm Dr. O'Kay, reporting on the WWE, where everything is okay.